So, turned 45 on Saturday, July 27th, and if I put my hat up, it's hot in the car. But I was thinking about the fact that I should not be here, like at all, twice. um, you know, we have a story of like my mom telling me how she was told that she wasn't supposed to be able to have children, and she went to a preacher. Long story short, preacher told her to eat grapes or something, or drink grape juice, something like that. I have to ask my mother again, but he prophesied that she would have a child, and she did conceive, and ended up being me. While they tried to get me out, they were losing me because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, all of that stuff. So I was just thinking about that today, about how I should not be here, but I am, and it's only because of the grace and mercy of God. But when you think about that, if there had not been a man of God, a preacher that would have spoke those words to her, into her life, she might never have had the faith to even try and conceive. I am not a virgin birth, obviously, so I do have a father. So they had some things I'm sure they had to do. That being said, if he had not spoken those words into her life, probably would not be here. She probably would not have had the faith to even try. And so, saying all that to say, there's a study that talks about how, I know the planes are loud. I'm out here at the airport. Come on, plane, go away. All right. So it talks about how there's a study that talks about how people who attend services, attend church, people who are part of a religious community or church community tend to have a sense of purpose. It's a gnat in here. Tend to have greater levels of a sense of purpose in their lives. And so, actually, there's several studies that show that. And so, for me, her having this prophetic word spoken into her life, as well as words being spoken into my life from my great grandmother, has given me a greater sense of purpose. I can't imagine living my life having not had those two things happen to me. Who would I be? What would I be doing? I really can't tell you. But certain things have been spoken over me in the community that is the church, that radically shifted and changed the trajectory of the life I probably would have been in. I was, born and raised in Detroit. Who knows what I would have been doing? There's another airplane taking off. But close the door and see if it will get lower. There we go. So, but who knows what I would have been in or doing or anything. And so having those words spoken has given me such a great sense of purpose, sense of direction, a sense of belonging, all because we were part of a church community. And so there's a lot of people who aren't part of a community or don't have a community. It's kind of just like they just exist and that's it. We think about some of these school shooters and people like that, outside of maybe their parents oftentimes they have no community. They're not part of anything. They're not in, let alone a church, just anything, a club, something, a trade union, I don't know, something. But there's a lot of people in this world that have no community whatsoever. They have no friends, they have no community, they have no sense of belonging to a greater community, a greater purpose. No one speaks a purpose into their life. They just exist, and it's a sad thing. No wonder a lot of times their mental health is screwed up, because you have people that just merely exist. My old pastor used to say, they're just going from here to there to die, and they have no sense of purpose, no sense of direction. They just exist to work. They're just a cog in the capitalist system to just, work, make money for their employers, and then die. They don't have a wife, they don't have children, they don't have a husband, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people like that in this world. And so one of the, what I call, I know it's not magic, but I just call it that as a play on words, but one of, if not one of the top magic elixirs for health and vitality and mental health is being part of a religious community. Studies show that even your those who are, their lifespans are longer, their vitality spans are longer, their mental health is better. They're less likely to be suicidal, less likely to be depressed, less likely to be anxious, all of those things. And so it is so important for us. I know that, nowadays it's trendy and cliche to be contrarian, I was saying the other day that being contrarian doesn't necessarily equal being smart and wise. A lot of times people think they're being intelligent and smart and wise, when really they're just being contrarian. They're not, they're just being a cynic. And so the thing nowadays is often to just, be a cynic about being in church or attending church or being part of a religious community, being part of a diocese or archdiocese, or in some churches a jurisdiction or a fellowship, whatever you call it. Everyone's cynical about that, like, oh, you're part of something, like, why would you be part of that? Like, that's man-made, or that's this and that's no. I believe when Jesus says, upon this rock I will build my church, he knew exactly why he would. We don't often think about, he knew exactly why he was building it. We don't often think about, okay, not just the fact that he built a church and founded a church, but also the fact that, why did he do it? It wasn't just to, okay, we're going to gather together every Sunday and this guy is going to stand up and teach us some stuff that he may or may not actually be doing himself. But the sense of belonging, the sense of purpose, the sense of meaning, the sense of, it's not just about that person standing up talking. It can also be about that mother that slips you $20 because you need gas. It could be that mother that teaches you, hey, here's a way to dress modestly. That older father that could grab a young man and say, hey, young man, when you're taking care of your house, you want to do this or do it this way or do that. When you, this is how you treat your wife. This is how you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much more than just the guy the person getting up on Sunday, and taking a scripture and getting you excited. It's so much more than that. Gotta fix my keys here. It's so much more than that. But we boil it down to just that moment. And if, he gets 52 hours a year to teach in that moment. And if he doesn't in that 1 hour per week that he does, and then we think, oh, well, throw this whole thing away because he's no longer, he missed it a couple of Sundays where it didn't really, the message didn't really hit home for me. Well, sometimes it's not just him. Sometimes the message needs to hit home from somebody else. Somebody else might have a prophetic word for you. Somebody else might have some wisdom or an instruction for you. Somebody else, might say, hey, come. Somebody else might need your wisdom or your prophetic word, whatever the case may be. So like I said, I shouldn't be here. And, as somebody that has dealt with depression and anxiety and had suicidal ideation in junior high and all that type of stuff, if there had not been for the church and these things spoken over my life, and the sense of purpose and sense of meaning and the sense of okay, God has something for me to do, who knows where I would be? Who knows what I would be into right now? So just wanted to say that I should not be here, but thank God that I am. I'm about to see 45 on the 27th.